How's it going, everyone? This is Joan to my right. I have Soaring to my left. I have Kaboom.
Are you going to drop that this time?
Don't drop that this time. I swear to God, I will end you.
You keep saying this.
Yeah, hold it, please.
I'm going to hold it.
So, what we are going to be talking about today is No Man's Sky.
And No Man's Sky is that game of the year. You want to be game of the year, but you're not sure if it's going to be game of the year.
Because people are stupid.
These people are stupid.
I was almost positive that this was going to, totally, especially after when I found out about Eve, I thought that this was going to take Eve off the market and,
crush all competition. Constipation. Crush all competition.
Competition. And I thought that this was literally going to be the game that was going to take Minecraft off YouTube.
And you thought.
I thought.
And here is, if you are pre-ordered No Man's Sky, I'm going to give you some information that you need to know. I have pre-ordered it, I have heard the information, and I still want to very much play it. So, here is the things you need to know. First off,
this is a very intellectual
this is an MMO that you will never run into another person with. The game, unless you absolutely make it your goal to do so, the game is too large that you spawn completely in a random location and you can teleport to other random locations, and it is so vast that your probability of reaching another person within your entire gameplay period from the time you purchase the game to the time you get bored of it is essentially zero.
Yeah, I mean, 40...
The game is too large, and people don't realize that.
40 quadrillion planets.
Yeah. Secondly, it is updated to the server by, basically you make your discoveries in-game, and you log those discoveries, and then you have to race whoever else it is, right, to a control point, which is like a node, in order to claim that territory for yourself.
Yeah.
You will get paid in in-game money called units, and these units, these credits, they're used to purchase in-game items and to upgrade your character. Point number one, if you upgrade your ship and your ship is destroyed, all of your upgrades are lost.
Yep.
Okay. Your ship is kept, so anybody who pre-ordered the game and gets that awesome badass ship, even if it's destroyed, you get the base model of the ship just fine. 2, your character has a multi-tool. This multi-tool can be upgraded many times over, in many different ways, and that will never be lost no matter how many times you die.
Oh, that's really cool.
3, all of your character's equipment, period, is the same way. You will never be degraded by dying. You will only lose what's on your person, except for your equipment. The equipment is carried over even if you die.
Right.
So if you're going to invest your character in upgrades, don't do it to the ship primarily. Do it to you. Your ship is only an extension of who you are.
This seems like a game that I'm just going to focus on me more than I focus on my ship.
Now the ship can give you some advantages. You can upgrade your ship's fire rate and fire speed. The weapons are not actually that useful, believe it or not. They destroy terrain, they destroy enemy ships, but your primary thing you want to upgrade is your actual movement speed.
Yeah,
because you need to get around everywhere, and that is primary.
Very quickly.
Your ship can carry a certain amount of materials, and those materials you can trade to other locations where they may be potentially more or less expensive, depending on where you ship them, so you can make a lot of money that way. However, your ship only has a very limited storage capacity, and it is not, as at this time, upgradable, and you cannot get another ship type of a bigger class to do this. There are no bigger classes of ships. There are 4 classes of ships: Explorer, Shipper, Trader, etc., Merchant, whatever. All of them have their strengths. One has a researching bonus, one has a speed bonus, one has a cargo hold bonus, and one has a relationship bonus with other people, like an ambassador class.
Oh, okay.
Oh, talking about relations with other races.
There are apparently 4 in-game races, but each race has like 112 subfactions. So you'd have to develop relations between all of them, and they all control different territory, and you need to sometimes, if you make friends with some faction, it will completely ruin your reputation with another.
Yeah.
You could spend a lot of time building up your reputation to another faction, only to help one person once and lose all of it.
So
yeah,
you will run into NPCs.
Yes.
More often than you run into people.
Also, the NPCs you run into, if they are a different race from you, they will speak a different language, and even in different regions through different factions, they may speak different languages among themselves or regional dialects.
Yeah.
You will have to collect translations from monoliths located on these planets. They're infrequent, but they are everywhere.
Just fly around the planet.
Just keep on flying around. No, each planet only has like one or two.
Yeah, you fly around the planet.
Every time you collect one of these monoliths, they will translate one word of one language permanently. So be careful.
So unless you are like,
you could accidentally get like, oh look, I translated the word neurobiology. How many times is that going to come up? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You might be that unfortunate. Another thing about this game is that of 100% of planets, right, 90% are inhabitable. They are completely, utterly desolate. 10% of them are habitable, but those habitable creatures may be lethal.
Maybe lethal or fucking gigantic.
1% of them is habitable to Terrians, your race.
How many zeros is in quadrillion?
Quadrillion, it is 40 billion planets. For every billion for every one in that 40 billion, there is a billion planets representing it.
Cool thing about the inhabitable ones, you can just collect shit and then go.
Well, no, because they're harmful to your character a lot of the time. And of that 10% of that 1% that are habitable have monoliths on them that you can go into, collect, and get rare resources from. So, that's very important.
The number of planets that you cannot visit is uncalculable.
Is uncountable. You are more likely than not going to hit bunk. You're going to go to a planet and you're going to be like, man, this place is shit, and you're going to leave. Now, the people who learn how to control that and use that to their advantage are the people who are really going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be a way.
So
if
you find a way to capitalize on that problem, you will succeed very, very well, because you can make one of those desolate areas like home base as long as you can survive there. If any person online in the world runs into you at any time, now there's got to be a way to run into another person. It's going to happen. Some people are going to find a way to randomly generate themselves into the right location and get to a guild or hub area of some kind. There's no way.
Otherwise, there's
someone's going to give instructions on how to get from one place to another. And if you have looked at there's a picture of the universe, and I'll try to post it in here if I remember. But it is a fractal sphere, and it goes down pretty much indefinitely. And they can always scale this even like one layer lower and triple the amount of planets they have.
Yeah,
by adding like one decimal place to their generation algorithm. It is that intense.
Yeah.
So you'll never run out of places to explore. You will almost never run into another person. If you buy the game now and play for 20 years, the likelihood of you running into another player is still almost zero. So
it's insane.
Now it has online elements. You can tween to another person if somebody's in your area and just so happens to be there, right? The game is coded to allow for that. However, it is very, very unlikely that...
Yeah,
it's also very unlikely that you'll even run to another player's discovery.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, like, you could never find another player's discovery. That is very much possible.
This isn't an MMO. This is a go out.
This is single player with multiplayer elements.
Yeah, basically.
It is a primary single player game.
But
it's in a very multiplayer influenced universe.
And I'm just gonna say, like, the fact that there's no central hub for all players. There's no that we know of right now. Right. There's no central hub for all players to start at.
All players apparently contribute to the processing power of the central server.
Yeah.
So whenever you're playing the game, whatever's not used for graphics generation is instead used to bolster the main server's performance.
Yeah.
So it is a distributed computing network, It is massive. Now this is a game with a triple A budget through purchases, so they know what they're doing. They're not. It's not a triple A producer. It is an indie producer, but they have a triple A budget.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. But the biggest problem with the game, like what I've seen so far, from what I've heard, is that it's supposed to be an MMO.
It's supposed to be an MMO.
What you expect from an MMO is
you run to other people and you play with your friends.
Yeah.
And the fact that the second somebody realizes they can't play with their friends, right? They retract their pre-orders.
Yeah.
And that has happened quite often.
Yes, but you see, but gamers like me, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump into this game. I'm gonna go find Soren.
Yeah. I'm gonna dedicate. In addition to everything else I'm doing, I'm gonna try to find Kaboom if he's playing. I'm gonna do my damnedest to get to that location, even if I have to hit the warp to random location button like every time I have fuel.
It can't be worse than soft resetting for a shiny Trico.
No. It's going to be much worse.
It's going to be much worse.
It's going to be faster.
You're looking at Emerald.
It took me 2 months.
Yes.
No, it doesn't matter.
You're looking at
that with a 1 in 8,000 chance, right? We can say even at worst case scenario, 10 minutes of hard reset, right?
Right.
And I know that doesn't really take that long, but
I was just making.
I was going to make the math, but the thing is, this is, I'm more likely to run into a different player than you.
Yeah, it's very
Unless
true.
we can triangulate the star map somehow.
Yeah, there could be a way that we can manipulate the random generation algorithm to exploit it in a way that we find who we're looking for. That's very possible.
Right,
and I will look into it. I know enough cryptographic math to brute force my way to that solution, if there is one.
Yeah,
and then I can even set up our computer. When I get my new computer, we can set up the computers next to each other and look at each other's
honestly,
screens.
if I really want to do this, right, I will take every single coordinate from every single jump coordinate and seed and just run it through Python and see if I can predict. I can do that, but I doubt it would help. I think it is true random. I'm more likely to run into another player than you.
Probably.
I probably won't go out of my way to find you, but if I run into you, we aren't leaving each other ever.
Oh.
There's no way.
Yeah, this game is...
Also, there's got to be a way to find another player's known coordinates and location.
A friend system.
Right, there's got to be...
but they haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
They haven't made the announcement that they have.
They haven't made the announcement yet.
They keep something as a surprise.
Yeah.
Right, but that's not the thing that you keep as a surprise in an
Right.
MMO. You let people know.
That you could tell all these people, it's single players only, it's single player only, it's single player only, it's single player. Then they all retract their pre-orders and we're like, ha ha ha, we're just kidding, it's completely multiplayer.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, oh my god, I didn't pre-order. Okay, that's your fault. Ha 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 ha, you didn't trust us.
Yeah, I mean...
I would be that much of a dick if I were a developer.
If.
What was this announcement? Was it April 1st?
No, this was almost a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean... But the biggest thing is, like... I'm going to say...
It's just that it's a lot of information that people don't know.
They've been hyping this game for a long time.
And
the game has been in development for a long time.
Yeah.
It has been hyped for like the last 2 years, and every time they say, "Oh, we're going to release it," and then they pull the release date back. But that's only because they want a finished product. This time, the release date is, as far as I know, absolutely certain. They know the exact day that they're releasing it. The game is in a finished state. They wanted to work out every single bug and leave it in a polished condition before release.
The only problem that we have right now is that there's no friend mode.
Now, there's probably going to be day one patches. There's probably going to be day one updates.
Yeah.
You're going to have to expect that. But here's another thing that you really don't have to worry about, is that a day one release with queuing on a multiplayer server, right? You're not going to have to worry about that because it's very single player oriented, and they have one server just handling a very large load on a distributed computing network. You're not likely to have a crash anytime during once the day one patches are out of the way. You're probably not going to have any kind of queuing or anything like that. Now, you may force submitting your fines, but you can do that at any time. Dying doesn't reset that.
Right, exactly.
It's just stored on your local machine until the server can accept your request.
Your request.
And there will probably be a couple people who run into each other just by the sheer number of players on the server. There's bound to be lucky pair of players that are together.
You know what?
So we'll find out.
The easier number, I just realized something. The easier number to calculate would be the 10% of planets that are
habitable.
Habitable.
So if we think about this, if players are only looking for habitable planets,
right, that actually drops the number to
about four quadrillion, 4 billion, right? And if we have just 1 million players, leave it at a flat million players. If there are flat million players, that brings that down to 4 trillion. 1 in 4 trillion chance of one player finding another person.
Yeah.
So, however, that increases each time somebody jumps to a new location.
Exactly.
So, or that decreases. So, if each player jumps twice, that'll jump down to 2 trillion. And if they jump twice again, it'll jump down to 1 trillion. And that'll half eventually. Eventually, somebody's going to run into another person. It won't be in the first week of gameplay. No. It'll probably be it'll be within the first couple months, I assume.
I am going to say
2 players would have the same coordinates.
I'm just going to say there's got to be a central location that they're not telling people about yet, and this is one of the.
There are these monoliths in every system that are function as transfer hubs and in-game shops and stores, right?
Right.
So the game has an economy, but no microtransactions, as far as I can see.
Okay.
Hope not.
No. They said that they were going to try to stay away from microtransactions entirely, and that the game is just based on the $60 purchase price.
Oh, that would be nice.
So, but that those stations function as in-game hubs.
Right. But, yeah. Well, I'm going to say I think you've put out a lot of information on the game. So you've given me a better understanding. I
still can't wait. I don't care what you think. If you don't think playing without your friends is fun, just keep in mind there's several million Minecraft players who have never played online ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of them until last year. I had never played Minecraft online. But I mean, there are plenty of single player games I've never had a problem with. And this will be another one of them. It'll probably be my crack for a couple months.
Yeah, it's true.
And probably here and there.
And you're going to see my crack on YouTube on ULab's channel.
Yep. We'll leave the diddly-do in the description.
Yeah. If I remember. I'm really bad at that.
I'll remind you. I promise you. But...
we'll see you guys later. There are buttons down there. Click them if you like our channel.
Also... Like trolls down in the comments, leave them.
Like and I see what you did there. Shut up.
Oh yeah, any of the buttons is fine, but we prefer the positive ones.
Yeah, I mean there's that one negative button that don't click that ever.
No YouTuber likes that negative button.
Yes, that's correct.
So, thanks for watching. You have a nice night, and we'll see you again next time.
Yep.